I feel like none of my time is my own, and the work that I do is unseen, unappreciated, or anyway underappreciated. Hey y'all, Doc Martha here. I am tired, and I feel like a lot of the people that I know and care about and work with are feeling really exhausted right now. And today, I want to give a special shout out to those of us who are exhausted while caring for an older adult. That might be your parents, your grandparents, caregivers from when you were a kid, aunts, uncles, your partners, relatives. This is not an easy task, and it's not one that I recommend that we do on our own. My wife recently had a close relative who had some health challenges, and those challenges led to an unexpected need for an immediate downsizing, all of which we managed ourselves. And I mean, there's the management of the house and the things and all of that. And then there's the health concern, which is ongoing. I will tell you that I feel a lot like I felt when I had toddlers in the house. I feel like none of my time is my own, and the work that I do is unseen, unappreciated, or anyway underappreciated. And there's a part of my brain that's saying these are necessary, important things to do. They are the right things to do. And yet sometimes they still feel kind of bad. Like if you have to tell a very little kid, no more ice cream, because they've already had enough sugar for the day. Similarly, when you have to tell an older adult that probably they shouldn't be driving anymore. Both of those things feel like important, necessary things to do. And also, I feel a little bit bad doing them. I feel a little bit bad saying it. So these are the principles that I talk about when I'm talking about things that are trauma-informed. Now, these principles are based on neuroscience and psychology and other schools of thought, considering how the brain develops and what happens next after we have experienced trauma. And when I talk about them, I feel like people think that I'm talking about a clinical frame of reference or that I'm talking about students or teachers or schools. But really, these principles help me organize the things I have learned and how I see the world, right? Starting with family, grade school, team sports, marching band, mentors and teachers, books I've read, religious and spiritual beliefs, all of these things organized under this basic framework. And that framework helps me as I'm navigating this current challenge in our lives. It helps me to think about where that relative is, how that relative is managing what's going on, where we are together, where my partner is on her own, right? It's not even my relative, it's her relative. It helps me to think about how I want to respond and what kinds of things I want to prioritize. So for those of you who are living through a similar circumstance, I have 3 things I want to share with you. 1, I want us to remember how important a sense of agency is for us as human beings. We want to feel as though we have a say. We want to feel as though if I do something, I can make change in my world. We need to feel as if what we do and say matters. And if I don't have that sense of agency, that might make me feel sad. It might make me feel afraid. It might seem like a threat, right? It could be a trauma reminder of a time when I didn't have control or I had very little control. And that might come out towards the outside world as anger, irritation, disrespect. So if we ourselves can remember how important agency is, it will help us to maintain our calm. It can help us to maintain some regulation, even when maybe our older adult is not regulated. And it points us in a direction towards resolution. So it might be true that I need to say, I don't think you should be driving, which can be a real source of agency for some adults, right? This idea that you could just get in your car and go somewhere. And if that's no longer available, then I want to be thinking about all the ways that I can offer choices so that this person can continue to feel some kind of agency. Those are probably going to be smaller choices at this time. What clothes that they wear, how their space is decorated, what food that they eat, what food that they don't have to eat, what time they wake up, what time they go to bed. Now, I understand that not all of these choices will work all of the time. Maybe you need for a person to get up at a particular time because they need to go to a doctor's appointment, all of that. But whenever you can, I really want to encourage you, to offer those choices. Secondly, I want us to remember how vital human connection is. There are plenty of research studies that talk about once people get very isolated, what that does to cognitive functioning, what that does to our emotional world. And so maybe you live far away from the person that you want to provide care for, and so you can't be there every day. Or maybe you live close by, but you have work. Maybe you're in that special place where you're caring for older adults while you have children at home. And if you are, my heart goes out to you. But so that may make it so that you cannot actually be there in person when you'd like to be there in person. It might be that the person you're caring for says they don't want to see other people. They don't want to talk to people. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, not from this relative, but from other people, oh, I don't want anyone to see me like this. Right? It might be that they say those things, and yet people need people. We need human connection. My wife has done a fantastic job of talking to lots of people, of messaging folks, of calling and texting people and asking, hey, can you just stop in and check on my relative? Now, not everybody came through, not everybody could, but lots of people have, and those connection points really do light up this relative's day. Sometimes as caregivers, what we need to do is to be the thread that helps those connections come together. Thirdly, I want to remind you that you cannot pour from an empty cup. I was saying earlier how I feel like my time is not my own, and I will say that for the first 2 months, everything seemed to be focused on this crisis, which makes sense and is appropriate. But finally, we were able to get a tiny bit of breathing room, and it reminded me of how much we do need that we need to take time for ourselves as a couple, for ourselves as a family, but also individually. Like, what are the things that I need to do on my own? What are the spaces that I need to just sit reflectively or listen to music or read a book, not while doing something else? We all need the opportunity to break away from the stressors in our life. And if you're going through a crisis like this, it may feel impossible to do that. And so I really want to encourage you to just take tiny breaks. Just 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, even just a walk around the block, folding clothes with nothing else around, or washing the dishes without listening to an audiobook. Allowing our brains some space can really help us maintain ourselves internally. Let me know in the comments if you have other ways to allow someone some agency, to provide for connection, and tiny ways to take breaks during your day. Take care, y'all.